So hey, what's up guys, this is AK, and you are watching my YouTube channel AKM. So guys, welcome back to a brand new tips and tricks video of PUBG Mobile. If your recoil feels perfect when you copy someone else's sensitivity, but completely different when you play on your own settings, there is a reason for that. Zero recoil is not a sensitivity code that you can simply copy and suddenly control every gun perfectly. Your sensitivity has to match the way you control your device, your gyro movement, your finger movement, and even the way you hold your phone. That is why copying a pro player's sensitivity can sometimes make your recoil worse instead of better. In this video, I will show you how to build recoil control around your own mechanics, so your sprays become more consistent without depending on someone else's sensitivity. The first thing you need to understand is that sensitivity does not remove recoil. It only changes how much your aim moves when you move your finger or device. The actual goal is to make your sensitivity predictable. For example, if you are spraying an enemy at medium range and your crosshair keeps moving too much when you pull down, your sensitivity may be too high for your control style. You might think that you need to pull your finger down faster, but that can make the spray even more unstable. On the other hand, if you have to drag your finger a huge distance just to control the recoil, your sensitivity may be too low. So instead of asking what sensitivity gives zero recoil, ask yourself how much movement you need to control the gun comfortably. This is where testing becomes more important than copying settings. Go into the training ground, choose the gun you use most often, and start with a normal spray at a fixed distance. Do not immediately change 5 different sensitivity settings. First, watch what the recoil is doing. If your bullets are consistently going above the target, you need more downward control. If your crosshair is dropping below the target while spraying, you are pulling too much. If your aim is moving left and right while you are trying to control the vertical recoil, the problem may not be your sensitivity at all. It can be your finger movement or gyro control. This is one of the biggest reasons players struggle after copying sensitivity. They copy the numbers, but they do not copy the exact hand movement used to control those numbers. Now let's talk about the most important part, your camera sensitivity and your ADS sensitivity. Camera sensitivity mainly affects how quickly your view moves when you are looking around and controlling your aim before firing. ADS sensitivity affects how your aim responds while firing and using different scopes. If your spray becomes uncontrollable the moment you start shooting, ADS sensitivity deserves your attention. But do not randomly increase or decrease it. Make small changes, test the same spray again, and compare the result. The important thing is consistency. Use the same gun, the same scope, and roughly the same distance while testing. If you change everything after every spray, you will never know which setting actually helped. Now, if you use gyroscope, this becomes even more important. Gyro can make recoil control much easier because you are not depending completely on your thumb. Instead of dragging your finger down a lot, you can use small and controlled movements of your phone to keep the crosshair on the target. But there is one common mistake. Players often use too much gyro movement. They see the recoil going up, so they tilt the phone aggressively downward. The crosshair then goes below the enemy, and they quickly move it back up. A better approach is to make small corrections. Think of gyro as a fine control system, not something you need to move aggressively every time you shoot. This is especially useful with longer sprays. At close range, you may not need perfect recoil control because the enemy occupies a larger part of your screen. But when the enemy is farther away, small aim corrections become much more important. There is another detail that many players completely ignore, and that is the weapon itself. Not every gun has the same recoil behavior. Some weapons feel easier to control because their recoil pattern, fire rate, and overall handling are more forgiving. So if you are trying to build your sensitivity around one weapon, choose the gun you actually use in real matches. If you mostly use an assault rifle for close and medium range fights, practice with that gun instead of spending all your time testing a weapon you rarely use. Your goal is not to create a sensitivity that looks perfect in the training ground. Your goal is to create control that works when an actual enemy is moving, shooting back, and changing direction. This is why you should also test your recoil against moving targets. A stationary target can make your spray look perfect because you only need to control recoil. But in a real match, the enemy is moving, you are moving, and your crosshair is constantly being adjusted. Try spraying while tracking a moving target. If your recoil is controlled but your crosshair keeps falling behind the enemy, then your problem is not simply recoil. You also need better tracking. And this is where many players make another mistake. They keep changing sensitivity every time they miss a spray. One bad fight does not mean your sensitivity is bad. Maybe your crosshair placement was wrong. Maybe you started spraying before your aim was settled. Maybe you were moving too much. Maybe the enemy suddenly changed direction. Sensitivity should not be changed every time you lose a fight. Give yourself enough time to adapt. A setting that feels strange for the first few minutes can become comfortable after proper practice. The more consistently you use the same controls, the easier it becomes for your hand and gyro movement to make automatic corrections. And there is one final thing I want you to remember. Zero recoil does not mean the gun literally has no recoil. It means your recoil control is good enough that the weapon stays close to where you want it during a spray. That control comes from the combination of suitable sensitivity, proper finger movement, controlled gyro, good crosshair placement, and practice. So instead of searching for the perfect sensitivity code, start building a sensitivity that fits you. Test one setting at a time. Watch how your bullets move. Make small adjustments. Practice the same spray repeatedly. Then take that control into moving targets and real fights. When your sensitivity matches your own hand and gyro movement, recoil starts feeling much more predictable. And that is the real secret behind consistent zero recoil. You do not need someone else's sensitivity to control your gun. You need to understand your own control. So guys, that was all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more PUBG Mobile tips, aiming guides, movement tutorials, and practical gameplay advice that will help you improve faster. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching.